Hey everyone, it's Dr. Nic and Mike Sebastian, the Dream Team with Divine Guidance Institute, Modern Day Mystery School, teaching you the ancient way of knowing so you never get blindsided again. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Getting blindsided. It's crazy. It happens more and more. It's in the headlines all the time. Even just last week, it was on the news. There was a doctor. He removed the man's liver instead of his spleen, and the husband died right there on the table. May the blessings be. Then the next day, the stats on the television were about breast cancer misdiagnosis this year alone, and we're only 9 months in. 400,000 people have been misdiagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah, getting blindsided, and it's we've all been there at one time or another, but it's a crisis today, and that's why we're talking about it, and that's why we even bothered to develop and open our Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center. It's called DGI, and it's a modern day mystery school. And the reason we did that was to address the problem and the crisis of getting blindsided. I mean, the misdiagnosis is off the scale, people dying daily from misdiagnosis. So, luckily for me, when I got PTSD from Vietnam, and I really had no idea, I was kind of blindsided by it actually. Suddenly I had nightmares, I was suicidal on a daily basis, feeling depressed, anxiety was off the scale, and I found a solution for it without having to go to the doctors and getting pharmaceuticals. And luckily for me, that really allowed me to sidestep adversity and not go into that other problem where I may have gone to the docs and been misdiagnosed and gone through some serious crisis in my life. But I'll come back to that in a minute.
Yeah, I want to give you guys some more stats because it is crazy. Okay, blindsided. $3.4 billion in damages to the elderly this year alone from financial scams, up 11% from last year. Medical misdiagnosis caused 800,000 deaths and serious disabilities this year so far, 2024, in the USA alone. 81% of people lie on their online dating profile. How to know if he or she is the one? Well, the divorce rate is at 45%, so that tells us that half of you picked the wrong mate. 48 out of 94 political claims were false, and half of you, 51% of Americans, report the inability to identify political deception. So you got the stats. Those are just the stats. We have developed a foolproof system using your innate abilities that are on autopilot 24/7 to prepare you, to give you a glimpse, to let you know through your intuition, dreams, and signs if someone is full of shit, and to let you know what's coming around the corner so you can A, change the course, make a course correction, or if it can't be avoided due to whatever reason, it softens the blow when it does happen. So, and these are our innate abilities, our innate powers. We all have them. And half the people aren't ready to use them, and that's cool. We really consider them your superpowers. And I've got two crazy stories I'm going to share with you in a minute. I'm going to throw it back to Michael.
But yeah, and that's really extremely relevant. And the superpowers, we all want to be. I want to be Superman in my life, and I got blindsided when I was married previously, and suddenly I was served with a divorce notice, and I never ever saw it coming. And why didn't I see it coming? Why did I get blindsided? Well, to start with, I wasn't paying attention. When we're not paying attention, looking outward, like through our eyes and our ears, trying to talk to other people. What's going on? We're on our iPhone, we're on the TV, we're completely distracted. I am not present in the moment. And the other reason I got blindsided, I really wasn't trusting myself. And it goes back to what Nic was previously talking about, the theme of trusting yourself, looking inward. I would have seen it coming. I would have been warned. Actually, I was warned by my intuition, but I didn't pay attention. And I thought, oh, it's just my imagination. I'm just rationalizing this. And actually, it was a warning that was given to me ahead of time that I would be served with a divorce notice had I paid attention, but I disregarded it. Or had I been looking at the signs let me know that things were about to get chaotic and I was going to be blindsided. And like I said, it results from two major things in my life. I know I wasn't being present, I wasn't paying attention, and I truly wasn't trusting myself. By trusting myself, I mean taking a deep breath, looking inward for the answer. Like, is there something wrong? Is there a problem? Is something coming around the corner that I should be aware of? Some adversity? How do I sidestep it? Nope. I was looking outward, listening to other people's advice. And that is why I got blindsided.
Nice. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Nope.
Although there is an instance where other people's words of wisdom are actual from words of wisdom from your higher self as a confirmation. And that falls into the category of signs and serendipity, coincidence type stuff. So there is a category where that's actually legit and confirmation for you. But let's back up just a minute. These two stories. So we go out to eat and we give the hostess you're all familiar with one magic word. Just say Hugh. It's called one-step therapy. It's a modality. It's called one magic word, and the word is Hugh, H-U, Hugh. And it goes like this. You inhale and Hugh on the exhale. Super simple. Eyes open, eyes closed. Out loud, silently, while you're doing the dishes or while you're in a business meeting. Makes no difference. And you talk about activating your superpowers. So anyway, we're the hostess and we're at the restaurant and we go there all the time. So Michael starts talking to her about PTSD and hands her, we have a card, and on the backside of our business card, we have one magic word all laid out. So when we hand anyone our card, they get the whole technique, even if we never see them again. So he hands her the card and she's like, oh, I've got insomnia. Oh my gosh, da da da. And he's like, well, just give it a try. Try the one magic word, the Hugh, and let's see what's up. And then 5 days later, we went into the same restaurant because we go there every week. And the hostess comes up to us. She goes, oh my God. She goes, when you gave me that word, that technique, I really thought it was silly. But I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. Why not? She said, so I had insomnia like usual this week. And I used the Hugh, she said, and it put me right back to sleep. And then I did it the next night, and I used it 3 times this week, and the insomnia, no more insomnia, all gone. And I'm just stunned that it works because I thought it was really kind of silly. She said, so then I had this dream. And so I offer politely, I'm like, well, did you want us to take a, decode the dream? She's like, yes. So she tells us the dream. And the dream is one of the cutest dreams ever, but it's so literal and fabulous and really good for an example and teaching. She said, in the dream, I'm at home and there's a baby skunk chewing on side of my head. Like up near my, the top of my head, the side of my head, there's a little skunk chomping away. And then my neighbors come and they take me to the hospital and everything's cool. And she goes, what the heck would that mean? Well, immediately, of course, it comes in. The more you work with dreams, you get pretty quick at decoding. Her dream was this. This is so cool. Stinking thinking. I'm sure you've heard the term. You've got stinking thinking. That means negative thoughts, thoughts that are not constructive and not helpful, not positive. So That was the dream. It was showing her she had stinking thinking, but it wasn't going to be a big deal to fix it. That's why the neighbors came over. They took her, they got her assistance. Boom, boom. She was all fixed up real quick. So, by giving her one magic word or one step therapy, just say Hugh, whatever you want to call it, whatever your favorite little thing is. And then we went away. Then we came back a couple days later. A, the insomnia was solved. B, she had a dream. Now remember, a dream gives you a problem and a solution, a problem and a solution, a problem and a solution, even if you don't even know you have it. That's why they're autopilot. That's why everyone dreams every night. They're not just happenstance. There is a reason, and they are for guidance, divine guidance, higher self connection. So she got the insomnia solved, no scripts. She got a problem and a solution that would have taken months. If she was in therapy, it would have taken months to figure out, well, these negative thought patterns and they're really inhibiting you and blah, 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 blah. And I'm a psychologist and I've done sessions for 25 years. But our sessions go like that, just like we did with the hostess in 3 minutes at the restaurant. That's how quick the sessions are in terms of getting a solution. These tools enhance your superpowers, and they shortcut every single process that you could have. So you might as well experiment with one magic word. I'm going to throw it back to Michael before I share that other crazy story.
And remember that one magic word is Hugh, H-U, Hugh. And we're going to come back to that, but I just wanted you to have it really quickly because that's how quick it is. And, with my PTSD, I'd mentioned earlier, I said I'd come back to it. I was headed to the docks, down to the VA, and luckily I stumbled across and found the Hue, and I started hewing, and I noticed I felt better. And all of my symptoms, all of my devastating, severe, suicidal symptoms started diminishing, slowly going away. And I used the Hue literally to heal. And that's when I realized what a powerful tool it truly was. And like Nic mentioned, these things, whether it's using the Hue or paying attention to our dreams, they are so fast. We had a client, she was sick, had been to every major doc for every major test that she could get, and they couldn't find out what was the matter with her. That's not unusual, actually. They run a million tests and they always go, well, we're not sure. And so we were talking to her about her dreams, and she said, I have had a recurring dream, PB, like peanut butter. And it was in her dream over and over and over and over again. PB, the symbol for lead. So we asked her, have you ever worked with lead or been around lead extensively? She said, yes. Oh, my God. In the past, I have. I've worked with it and been around it quite a bit. And then she went back to the docs for a toxicity test for lead. And it literally, the dream saved her life once she had the information. And it was in the dream the whole time. It was a recurring dream, kept getting presented to her as a solution. And once she realized that was the solution, she was able to address it and heal herself. So these tools are critical. They are lightning fast, and they work 24/7. They're within us. Really, all we have to do is pay attention to what's going on within ourselves through dreams, signs, or intuition.
Hey, yeah. Now we are not saying do not go to your doctor. We are not saying don't take your medication. Oh no, you follow your current protocols, whatever they are, and you add the tools. You add the tools, you add the Hue, you add one step therapy, you add one magic word, you add decoding your dreams, and then you see what you come up with. If, you may find in time, as most people do, hey, I'm not smoking as much. Hey, I do want to drop my dose of methadone, and on and on and on. We are not saying stop anything you're currently doing. We are just saying check these tools out because they are the real deal. They're the shortcut. And everyone deserves a little relief, truly. And I'm glad Michael shared the lead toxicity story again. we told you this in one of our recent podcasts, but he felt compelled to share it again because who knows who listens to which podcast. And it's such a great depiction of decoding a dream and how getting blindsided with the medical establishment when your dream was telling you all along what the problem was. And this brings me to this other story, working with a client, and she's used the tools for a long time. And what happened, and this is just last week, and all of a sudden, trouble with the hubby and communication, and it's a real jealous situation, and who's doing what and where are they, and life 360, and who's working where, and did a new person come to work, and all kinds of things. But anyhow, what she said to me on the session was, I'm curious. I'm wondering if this new person came back to his job, if this new girl came back. I'm wondering if this happened. I wonder if this happened when he was out with his friends. I wonder if this happened when, and I was like, hello. I said, stop for a minute. I said, you have not been hewing, have you? She said, no. I said, well, there you have it. Now, in the meantime, as she's telling me all this, I wonder this, wonder, her new puppy is going crazy in the background. Okay. And it's like, whoa, what is going, like the vibe over there is, okay. So then I say, hey, you haven't been hewing. She says, no. Now she was hewing using the one magic word with the puppy, and she was hewing using one magic word daily with herself, okay? Regularly. But I could tell by the chaos of the vibe with the puppy, and I could tell by her not knowingness, wondering if he's cheating, and wondering if the girls are around, and wondering all the insanity. I just knew by her state that she had not been hewing. So when I asked, and she's like, nope. I'm like, well, you know what? I said, all the curiosity and the wondering is going to go away if you start using the hew again. If you start using one magic word, and the puppy's going to chill right out, just like he did before when you were hewing with the puppy every day. And your own state of consciousness and your own sense of serenity. I said, and aside from all that, my dear, I said, it's going to activate your superpowers. I said, you want to know if he's cheating? You want to know if there's girls at work? You want to know what's going on? Activate your superpowers and you will know. Da 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 da. She goes, you're right. Oh my God. Da 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 da. Okay. 3 days go by. We talk again. We get on the phone. She goes, I got to tell you something. Actually, she called me out of the blue to tell me this. She goes, oh my God. She goes, I was sitting on the couch with him. He said, you know what? I need to tell you something because I don't want it to blow up in my face later. So-and-so is back at the job site. She goes, Nicole, I couldn't believe it. I've been hewing. I've been using it. And I was about to ask the question and he came up with the answer before I could even speak. She said, holy moly. I said, there's your superpowers. You're starting again to activate everything. She goes, you're right. She goes, I can't believe I stopped and never again. She goes, oh my God. Just in that, this was all in 1 week's time, you guys, 1 week's time. So again, we can't stress, these are your innate abilities. They're free. They're on autopilot 24/7. You might as well track the data and experiment. I'm going to throw it back to Mike.
And that's really the most important thing to realize is that, because I have people ask me, well, they say, well, that's great, but you didn't go to the doctor for you, but maybe I should go to the doctor. Well, that's true too, because maybe our inner voice is telling us we need to go to a certain doc or a certain hospital or a certain expert. That's part of the system. The point is, it's innate. We already have the power. We are the path, the light, and the truth. People ask that all the time. How do I know the truth? You are the truth. Look in the mirror. There is the truth. Perhaps you can't handle that because you're not ready for it. But that is the truth. And these powers will always lead us to the answer, and they will allow us to sidestep adversity, because people say, well, how do you know? And that knowingness comes from getting quiet for a minute, taking a deep breath, and listening, simply listening inwardly. And it could be actually to a dream at night, or it could be to a sign, or it could be to intuition, that gut feeling. It's not a thought. Intuition is a feeling that comes in our solar plexus. And we can turn that on, because people say, well, I've never noticed it much. Okay, then I would give you the tool, which is HU, HU. Couldn't be simpler, quicker, faster, effective, HU. That vibrational toning technique at a quantum physics level literally impacts my central nervous system and turns on my inner abilities like intuition from the inside out. And suddenly I've got my superpowers. And there it is. And that's all. It's quick, it's so fast, and we are protected. We will have the answers, the solutions, because we live in the world of duality or polarity. In other words, when it's light, you know the dark's coming. When you go up, you know there's also a down. In other words, and when you ask a question, the old saying, it contains the answer. It has to. It's not maybe or 99% of the time, it's 100% of the time. Everything is a whole, it's contained within the one. And we are the one. We have access to everything we need. Simply look within and use the tools of dream, signs, and intuition.
Alrighty. Hey, thanks for that. So we're going to close now, but it's most important, if any of this resonated with you and you're serious about seeing results, you're serious about your superpowers, you're serious about not getting blindsided, you're serious about shortcutting any issue you may have, just start with one magic word. You can also email us, go to our website, nevergetblindsidedagain.com. You can donate. It is a nonprofit. You can get, do it yourself with one of our books. You can do coaching. You can email us. Hey, there's a free dream decoding course on our website. Even sign up for that. The newsletter and the free dream decoder mini course. Yeah, to get you rolling. So there's lots of ways to get going. But like we said, if this resonates with you, or you're serious about seeing results or getting some different outcomes in your life, start with the HU, because that really activates things. And then get in touch. Hey, reach out. Nevergetblindsidedagain.com. This is Dr. Nic and Mike signing off. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.